Hey guys, welcome back to another How to WQ video. Today we're covering Tayson, Rezon, and Veno, and we're going to be learning how they drop so many kills in the game 1 of every single tournament they play. As a trio, they figured it out. They really understand the game sense behind how to stay together and how to position and how to pinch people and all these little things that rack up that 40 to 50 bomb they drop almost every single game 1 of each tournament. They do a really good job. Today, I really want to cover that and make sure that everyone understands what they're doing that makes them so successful on WQing as a trio. Here, they're sort of approaching this fight from a distance, sort of wanting to get a little bit of a tag before they push in. So Veno gets beamed, he loses HP, but then Tayson finds this huge beam right here. This will then open up the fight to get in really close. I really want you guys to understand how big of a distance they're sort of playing until they find that beam. It's not a good idea to go in box fight when the other team is full 200 HP. But now, Tayson gets that 120 beam that gets this guy down to 30 whites, and really good approach now, right? Because now that guy is going to be out of play. It's going to be a 3v2 for the next 10 seconds. Look at this sort of setup that they have right here. I really want you guys to understand this. So there's like a huge cluster of builds right here in the middle. If I just redraw the scenario that's happening in the game, there's a huge cluster of builds in the middle here. These are the enemy builds. Veno goes like this, and then Rezon and Tayson push together right here. Actually, you guys will realize that this is something that happens often. It repeats. This is something they've planned out beforehand, that these two will be together and that this guy will go here to prevent them from leaving. If these guys are split up within the box, they can take constant 2v1. They can come around here, beat this guy with 2v1. Then as they're trying to run away, Veno's there to capture them and taking cone floors above. The most important thing about this 2-to-1 setup is the fact that you need to make sure whoever's year 1 knows how to take fights without dying and knows how to keep his distance. Because if Veno ever gets too close, he will get 3v1 and he will die. Tayson and Rezon, like I said before, really close together. Veno's on height. A good way to make sure that you never get W-keyed if you're the solo player in the 2-to-1 setup is the fact that you can stay on height. You can AR from a distance, you can stay on height, take walls from a height, right? There's a lot of options there. And then Rezon's on the other wall on this box. So it's really nice setup. Let's just look at this 1-2v1 that's happening. So Rezon's going here and then Tayson's coming from here. Notice how this is so much better than Rezon going here and Tayson going here. And the reason is because these guys can find each other if the solo in this box wants to run out at one of them. Let's say this solo in this box immediately runs out towards Tayson, right? And then just like 200 pumps him or something. Then Rezon can come along and clean up the fight and completely clean up the fight and help Tayson out and make sure he doesn't get full killed. Just make sure that when you're pinching, you're doing it in sort of like the northeast or the northwest. You're doing it where you're beside each other like this, instead of doing the setup where you're like this. If you notice, if you're ever going from the north and south like this, it's going to be really difficult because the enemy can run out and 50-50 one of you guys. So we'll continue the video. Right, easy kill because they pinch him and they're really close together, and Veno's actually helping out from above. One more. And again, they know they have a man advantage, so they run in together. Once you get that first knock, you need to be shoulder to shoulder, peeking everything together, and really making sure that you're 2v1ing every sort of situation. And that's what's happening here. Veno's been here on the top right, so he's actually helping out a lot. And then the final kill comes in. Notice how each one of these kills out of the 3 enemies was a 2v1 or a 3v1. And that's what you want to do in a fight. Right here. Again, look how close they are together. This is the sort of thing that's happening. Try to watch your last fight back as a trio and ask yourself, are you this close together with your teammates? Are you taking peeks together? Because if you're taking peeks together and you're this close to each other, shoulder to shoulder, you'll find that it's really easy to win fights just naturally. You always have 3 alive and you always have 3 guns versus 1 or 2. So they're playing defense because the other team has height, and you'll understand that Rezon and Veno are kind of low. However, they do have a knock, so as soon as they heal, they're going to look to try to build fight and try to take height again because they have the man advantage, right? It's a 3v2. Tayson's covering every single angle right here. He notices the guy right here in the first instance, right? Looks for the peek and then tries to cover.
150 box.
Nice, dead. Okay, perfect. So 3v1. Now they have to look for that last guy. Yep. So again, 2v1 peek. Man advantages are seriously one of the best advantages you can do to win any fight in Fortnite. If you want like a system to sort of do this, really make sure you're doing this sort of follower leader system. And what I mean by that is that you assign one person. Let's say Rezon's leading, right? He's the leader, right? And I don't mean IGL. This is completely different. And then Tayson's constantly behind him so that he always sees Rezon. And then Rezon can literally go wherever he wants, knowing that Tayson's going to follow him exactly where he goes. Definitely look to do this sort of system. This will help you a lot. Where one person's just going and leading the charge, and he knows that his teammate is just constantly following him. Here, third parties happen, okay? Third parties happen, so Tayson does a really good job of just blocking it off immediately and then continuing the pressure. And I believe it's a huge man advantage. That's why they're doing this sort of split where Veno's going around, Tayson's on this side, and they're just trying to really pressure, right? They're trying to pressure and try to get in. There's literally one person in that box.
100. Above.
Right, so peaks don't matter as much. What you want to do is sort of kill that guy before his teammates come in home. The main reason why the other team is losing this fight is because of the fact that like they're just so split across the map. 3v2, Tayson really recognizes that these two guys have no awareness on their side, and he knows. So Tayson in this case becomes the leader really quickly. This is something that if you get used to, you won't even have to communicate, because you just know the teammate on your side is coming up close. And they have the jump on the 2v2, right? So that's going to be really beneficial. They have an HP advantage, mana advantage, and in that case, there's just too many advantages. Like, you need to jump in at that point. So just try to count how many advantages you have. Sometimes that can really help. Do you have mana advantage? Do you have HP advantage? Do you have mat advantage? Do you have shield advantage? Like, try to look at all those sorts of situations and try to find out, like, what's the best way to fight because of that. They're much better than everyone in this lobby. I think we can say that. And that's the reason they're sort of doing some inefficient stuff, just to clean up the fights faster. Oh, that's really good. Good AR pressures. That way, Veno can come in behind and kill that player who's 1 HP. And Tayson just continuously sprays, even if he knows he's not going to get that hit. And sometimes you do get that hit through turbo build, so it's worth it. You can judge the awareness of the enemy as well. That's really key to do sometimes. And then that can give you the opportunity to go for a shot when you want to. Okay. Hits him really hard, probably calls that one shot. Veno's gonna run in through enemy builds because he's one shot, and then look to get that kill.
Oh my god.
I want you guys to notice the momentum. When it's a 3v3, they play really safe to start, right? They don't go in as hard. When they get that first knock, or it turns into a 3v1, then they like start psychoing. They get in, and their priority at that point is to just win the fight. Their priority is to end the fight as fast as possible so they can go to zone. If you notice, zone is moving. If Tayson, Rezon, and Veno want to get these 2 kills, they need to end this fight right here, right now. What Tayson wants to do is to just get in. And it's okay if he dies, because he knows his teammates can come pick him up and then pull him back. You need to play well together as a team first and foremost, right? That is your first priority. And then if you become really, really good at it, and you trust your teammates to the point where you know they're going to follow up, and you know they're going to come res you or pick you up, then at that point, that's when you start playing a little bit more aggressive. A lot of people do it in the complete reverse order, where they try to psycho it and not care about the fundamentals of trio fighting and play really, really aggressive for no reason. I would much prefer that you play as a trio really well first, because that's what's more important, and that gives you the ability to W key as a trio. So that's gonna be the end of this video, guys. There's not that much detail, but I think there's a lot of important ideas here, like trying to 3v1, how to do the 2-to-1 setup, making sure that the distance between you and your teammates are really, really low, so that you can 3v1 and 2v1 more naturally. So really try to stay close to your teammates, especially on defense. And if you're on offense, try to do the 2-1 setup. That's gonna help you out a lot. Really make sure that you first prioritize trusting your teammates into doing the plays that you have. What I mean by that is to like really practice. Once you realize, like, hey, I can trust my teammate to be behind me when I'm rushing in and taking the leader spot and then follow a leader system, then it's going to work out really well, because you can trust your teammate to do that. There's no delay there. Everything's going to be really smooth because you practice so much on this sort of concept. So that's it for now on this video, how to W key like Tayson, Rezon, and Veno. If there's one thing that you remember from this whole video about all these sorts of concepts, your momentum ramps up as you build advantages. So if you have no advantages, take it really slow, and then once you find one, then rush it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys learned something, and I will see you guys in the next one.